Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to go through some general maintenance that I do occasionally to keep my Lepanthes nice and tidy. This mostly involves trimming inflorescences and leaves. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first plant I have here is Lepanthes myophora. And while it is one of my most prolific bloomers, you can see all those inflorescences here. A lot of these inflorescences have kind of dried up and will no longer be producing flowers. And so I want to remove those inflorescences at the base of the leaf. Another thing, I haven't checked this plant yet, but there may be a lot of old leaf petioles. So the petiole is sort of this stem looking part of the leaf. And so I want to remove those as well to make room for new emerging growth. So I just have this pair of shears that I bought on Amazon. It's Vivo Sun brand, which is like I think it's like a grow tent supplies brand as well. What I like about these shears is, I don't know if other ones are like this too, but if you look closely at the cutting point, first of all, it's very sharp, so you can cut very fine areas with it very precisely. And the other thing is, look what happens when I fully compress it. So here's my hand. Ooh, let me not accidentally cut my plant. But so this is, what scissors would be like when you're finished closing them usually. But if you squeeze it down a little more, you get that little see if you can see that little triangle there. And so you can even do this with this lock on. And with this, I like using this for trimming these sensitive inflorescences, because what I can do is be very, very precise about where I'm cutting. So I'll use the release motion to cut rather than the squeeze motion, like this. And what that also prevents is, if you're holding it like this, accidentally, hacking off a whole chunk of the plant. I've cut off leaves that I haven't been wanting to cut off before, exactly by doing that. And so when I'm trimming Lepanthes, I like to use this little space, unless of course this isn't big enough of an area to cut what I'm trying to cut. Then I'll just be really careful and don't open these shears as much. So I'll just go ahead and show you how I kind of go about this process. Let me just find there's a lot of spent inflorescences here, as you can see. Let's go with this one here. Can you see? Oh, this one? No, this one. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll open this and I'll slot it onto the inflorescence like that, and then I just follow it all the way down to the base of the leaf, and then I do a little snip and it comes off. And this can be thrown away or collected into a little container for throwing away later. Anyways, so I'm probably not gonna show you me cutting every single one of these off, but this is what the plant looks like before. And so I'm nearly finished, and this is kind of what the plant looks like now. I don't know if you can really tell if I remove too much, but this is everything I removed over here. So quite a few inflorescences. Didn't cut any developing ones, didn't cut any leaves by accident, and that's because I was using this little trick to snip those inflorescences. So that's sort of trimming inflorescences. So another thing that tends to happen with Lepanthes is that old blooms tend to like shrivel away and then end up on the leaf somewhere. And so the good way to get rid of these is just like flicking them off every now and then. Another thing you can do is like just shake the plant, and then the blooms will fall off. So on this plant I actually have a leaf I need to cut, and so I'll show you a side view of it. Let's see if you can find the leaf before I actually cut it. So it's actually this purple one here, and that's because the leaf itself is, I think I must have dropped this plant or something, but you can see here it's not really attached fully, and so what I want to do is cut as close to the base as possible. But you can already, you can already see, looking from this angle, there's a lot going on. If you're going in like this, very easy to cut a lot of those leaves by accident. And so what I'll do is I'll take this. Let's make sure this is clear. So this is the leaf I'm trying to cut right here. We'll go with that one. So what I'll do is I'll start up higher, and so this leaf is in there, and then I'll press it all the way down, basically to like the base of the plant, and then I just release. And I've cut a single leaf, and didn't accidentally cut off a bunch of others. And so I just find this easier, and so this is like not even as difficult as it gets. Let me show you another one. So again, I talked about this plant in my recent update about it maybe being not in the best shape, but it's a really good example of what I'm trying to communicate today about difficulty in finding the base of the leaf. So I mean, just take a look in here. I want to cut, let's say, this dry leaf here as close as I can to the base of the plant, but there's so many other leaves in the way that it can be tough. And again, if you have a smaller cutting width or whatever, it's easier to avoid accidentally damaging things. So let's see this one here. I mean, I'm looking at it with my eyes right now, and I'm having trouble tracking it to the base. And so I think it's this one, but anyways, be funny if I missed. But nope, I didn't. I got the right one. So yeah. So it's good to trim these leaves, or these dead leaves back, not only for just like aesthetic reasons, but it gives room for new leaves to emerge. And I found that trimming periodically also stimulates growth. I don't know how real that is, but I've noticed these plants tend to grow a little faster or grow more leaves post trimming. And so yeah, there's a big huge gap here. If you saw my previous video, it's because I had too much light. So I want to clean this guy up. And so there's also leaves on here I would probably just remove. So something like this, I would just get rid of it. Same with this. See how it's like very red? It gives, again, gives space for a newer, healthier leaf to emerge. And yeah, so like these kinds of things I'll just pluck off and then cut. But here, let me clean this guy up, and I'll show you what I mean by removing leaves. Okay, so I've cut off a couple leaves, and I trimmed it up a little. Honestly, it looks a little bit the same to me, but hopefully translates a little better on camera, the things that I did. So the next thing I want to quickly address before I wrap this video up is keikis. So if you're unfamiliar with what a keiki is, it's spelled Keikii, I believe, or Keiki. It's basically when your plant decides to produce a clone of itself. At least in orchid world, that is it. So if you look at this leaf I'm holding right here, this leaf, you'll notice that if you trace this leaf back towards the plant, it doesn't go all the way to the main plant. It stops at, right here, which used to be another leaf. You can see the old inflorescences here. And then that will go back to the other plant, the main plant. And you can see roots growing out here. So this is a keiki. And so I've gotten a lot of questions about, propagating. How do you propagate Lepanthes and such? So if your plant makes a keiki, that's kind of one way you can propagate them. So you just pull them off. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to pull these off. But once it gets maybe 2 leaves, and like a third one coming, that's kind of when I'll feel confident to pull them off. However, I've kind of been leaving them on here. Here's a bigger one here. You can see right there all those roots, and this one's got, I'm trying to pull them out, 2 leaves here. Right, these 2 leaves, and it's even blooming actually on the keiki. So I think it makes the plant look a lot more full. But if your goal is to get propagations, that's one way you can do it. I don't know if all Lepanthes will keiki. A lot of them do. Some of the really small ones, it can be tough to tell whether it's just a new growth or a keiki. But for these larger ones, it's pretty easy and pretty obvious because they make pretty big roots. So that's it for keikis. And I mean, I don't think I can make a video and not show off some flowers. And so to wrap up this video, here's just a couple things that are in bloom that are standing out to me right now. So the first one here, this is Lepanthes doucetii, relatively newly described species, and it has this like really awesome sort of magenta colored bloom. Very delicate petals here. You see they're very thin and very strongly colored. And this plant, while it doesn't look too great, these are kind of older leaves, and it's making a lot of new growths for me. So yeah, Lepanthes doucetii. Another like relatively recently described species, and I think it looks pretty similar to doucetii. There's Minettii, and this one is a crimson red color. I think this is another very desirable species. And again, I don't know if you can make it out. The structure of the petals is almost spider-like. Like right there, you can see it's kind of like little projections. But yeah, again, this is a really small plant. This is actually a division of my larger plant. But yeah, really cool thing in bloom. This is a recent addition. I don't think I've ever really spoken about it. This is Lepanthes tortilis, and this is a really small bloom, and I think it's really cute. Looks like little bat ears, and the leaves have these like interesting lighter green reticulations running through it. So very cool little species here. This is not blooming on the underside of the leaf as it may appear. This leaf is actually just upside down. So this is the underside of the leaf right here, and that's the top. Oh yeah, Lepanthes tortilis. 2 more, and then I will leave you all until next week or in the next video. So I showed this one previously. This is Lepanthes uxoria. Awesome little flower here. But I just wanted to show off that I have a second bloom. And I mean, look at all those leaves coming up. 1, 2, 3, for new growths coming on. So this thing is gonna explode soon. But yeah, I just love the color of this species. And this last one here is Lepanthes aculeata. This one's another red one, and this one is an underside of the leaf bloomer. But this little guy is sticking out here. You can see it's kind of more of a cherry red. And I don't know if you can make it out, but it's the margins of the flower are very hairy, very pubescent. So very interesting little bloom. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I really appreciate all of the growing support that I've been getting from my channel.